Most men fall into the same trap. They wait for women to confess interest directly, expecting clear words, obvious signals, or even bold invitations. That rarely happens. Attraction is not declared, it is disguised. Women rarely risk open rejection, so they use an unspoken code, a silent language made of body language, subtle contradictions, and subconscious betrayals of their emotions. Men who don't know how to read this language misinterpret attraction as disinterest and often walk away before the truth is revealed. One of the clearest signals hidden in this language is nervousness, cloaked under fake indifference. Imagine this scene. You enter a room and she suddenly adjusts her hair, fixes her outfit, or checks her phone like she's suddenly busy. Seconds later, she might laugh at something unimportant or fidget in her chair as if she's restless. Then, in a sudden shift, she acts cold, distracted, and almost distant. To the untrained man, this back and forth feels like rejection, but the truth is the opposite. Her body reacts first, showing she is hyper-aware of your presence. Her nervousness is an uncontrolled admission. Her coldness is the shield she quickly raises to protect herself from appearing too obvious. This paradox of hot and cold behavior is one of the strongest indicators that she feels attraction, but is trying to hide it. This nervousness often betrays itself through small details. She might bite her lip when you look at her, laugh a second too loudly at your comment, or play with her jewelry when the conversation pauses. These behaviors aren't random quirks. They are physical outlets for nervous energy caused by attraction. Her subconscious body leaks the truth before her mind can suppress it. A man who understands this doesn't panic or confront her directly. Instead, he reads the signs calmly and allows the attraction to unfold without chasing. Eye contact is another major channel of this silent language. A woman may control her words, but she cannot fully control her gaze. Psychology consistently shows that the eyes reveal subconscious desire. Sometimes she will hold your gaze longer than normal. As if her eyes are silently asking questions her mouth will never risk voicing. Other times she looks at you for a split second, then darts her eyes away in panic, afraid her interest has been exposed. Men often misread this quick glance as shyness, indifference, or even irritation. In reality, it is a push-pull dynamic. Her eyes reach for you, then retreat to safety. There are stronger visual proofs as well. If her pupils dilate when she looks at you, it signals excitement and arousal. If her eyes brighten when you speak, she's already emotionally engaged. If she glances at your mouth instead of your eyes, it's a subconscious slip. Her mind is jumping ahead of the conversation, imagining intimacy. These micro-signals happen in seconds, but they carry far more truth than anything she could say out loud. Men who learn to observe these details gain an advantage that others miss entirely. This is why attraction doesn't begin in words. Most men think they need clever lines, deep conversations, or bold confessions to spark desire. The reality is that attraction begins in these subtle evidences: nervous energy, paradoxical behavior, and silent eye contact. By the time she speaks, her body has already revealed what she feels. The key lesson for you is simple but powerful. Stop listening only to what women say and start observing what they do when they think they are hiding it. The silence, the nervous adjustments, the gaze that lingers too long or disappears too quickly, all of these are signals. Words can lie, declarations can be faked, but the subconscious body language of desire rarely deceives. Men who ignore this truth will always feel confused, rejected, or misled. But the man who pays attention to the silent language of attraction will never again mistake interest for indifference. He will see that women are constantly leaving behind clues. Clues written not in words, but in movements, glances, and contradictions. The only question is whether you are sharp enough to read them. While the silent signals of nervous gestures and fleeting eye contact reveal the beginnings of attraction, a deeper layer emerges when emotions grow stronger. Women rarely confess desire openly, so instead they create small challenges, subtle emotional tests designed not to trick a man but to measure him. These tests are not games of cruelty. They are psychological safeguards. When a woman feels vulnerable, when attraction puts her at risk of rejection or disappointment, she instinctively looks for proof that the man in front of her can handle pressure without breaking. One of the most common forms of testing is jealousy. She may casually drop another man's name into a conversation, laugh a little louder at someone else's joke, or mention a message she received from a friend. To the inexperienced man, this looks like danger. He interprets it as betrayal, as if she is already losing interest. But the truth is far more nuanced. Indifference never tests. If she did not care, she would not invest effort in provoking a reaction. By sparking jealousy, she is silently asking, "Are you strong enough to remain calm? Can you stay steady without collapsing into anger or insecurity? Do you value me enough to notice without overreacting?" Your response becomes the answer to all these questions. If you lash out, showing possessiveness and insecurity, you fail the test. If you completely ignore it, pretending not to care at all, she may feel dismissed and wonder whether you are even invested. But if you acknowledge it with balance, perhaps teasing her lightly, smiling with quiet confidence, you show that you are aware but unshaken. That reaction demonstrates emotional control, and emotional control is magnetic. Women respect men who can remain composed under pressure because composure signals strength, and strength invites trust. Another type of testing often hides inside humor. She might tease you about your clothing, mock your habits, or throw in a sarcastic comment. To a man who takes everything literally, these remarks feel like rejection or disrespect. His instinct is to become defensive, to correct her sharply, or to sulk in wounded pride. But what she is really doing is probing. Through humor, she asks, "Can you laugh at yourself? Can you hold your frame when I poke at it? Can you turn a challenge into play?" The confident man responds differently. Instead of folding under pressure, he smiles, throws a playful comeback, or simply laughs with her. This transforms what seemed like a jab into a shared moment of energy. Humor in this context is not about insult. It is about connection. It's her way of checking whether you are resilient enough to be admired. Each playful remark is an invitation disguised as criticism, an opportunity for you to show that your confidence is not fragile. This principle reveals an important truth. Emotional tests are not barriers meant to push you away, but bridges that allow her to step closer. They exist precisely because attraction is already present. A woman who feels nothing for you will not waste time watching how you react. A woman who cares will measure your strength before she invests further. Just as a jeweler scratches a diamond to prove its authenticity, a woman tests to confirm that your confidence is real. The scratch does not damage the diamond, it proves its worth. Understanding this dynamic changes everything. Instead of fearing her tests, you begin to see them as signs of investment. Every time she provokes jealousy or teases you with sarcasm, she is silently declaring that your presence matters to her. What determines the outcome is not the test itself, but your response. Stay calm, playful, and composed, and attraction deepens. React with fear or anger, and the connection begins to fracture. Attraction grows when excitement and safety meet. Excitement comes from the unpredictable spark of play, of banter, of challenge. Safety comes from knowing that you remain unshaken when tested. Emotional tests exist to satisfy both needs at once. They reassure her that the man she desires is strong enough to hold her trust and captivating enough to keep her attention. This is the power of emotional tests. They are not traps to fear but opportunities to rise. Each challenge is a question, and your behavior writes the answer. By proving that you can remain steady, confident, and even playful under pressure, you don't just pass her tests, you multiply her attraction. After the silent signals of attraction and the emotional tests that follow, there comes another stage that frustrates most men more than anything else: mixed signals. This is where desire and fear collide. One day she greets you with warmth. Her smile lingers, her tone is playful, and her presence feels alive. The next day she acts cold, distracted, or even distant, as though she hardly notices you at all. Many men interpret this as dishonesty or manipulation, labeling it games. In truth, it is something deeper: psychological self-protection. When a woman desires connection, she also exposes herself to vulnerability. She risks rejection, judgment, and the possibility of losing her sense of control. To balance this, she instinctively engages in what can only be called the dance of push and pull. She steps forward with openness, then retreats to safety. She reveals her warmth, then quickly hides it behind a mask of indifference. To the untrained eye, this looks like inconsistency, but to the man who understands psychology, it is clear evidence of emotional investment. Neutrality signals no attraction. Contradiction signals that feelings are real but guarded. The biggest mistake men make is reacting with panic when she pulls away. They chase harder, flood her with messages, demand answers, or plead for clarity. This destroys attraction because it shows insecurity. By chasing, the man communicates that his sense of worth depends entirely on her validation. Instead of reassuring her, it heightens her fear, confirming that he may not have the stability she needs. The paradox is that the more you push when she retreats, the more she feels the need to retreat further. The right response is the opposite. When she withdraws, you remain steady, calm, and unshaken. You do not punish her with coldness, nor do you chase her with desperation. You hold your frame, maintaining the same composed energy whether she is leaning in or pulling back. This demonstrates inner strength. It proves that you are not easily manipulated by emotional fluctuations. And when she sees this, her attraction deepens, because she begins to feel safe in the knowledge that you are a man who cannot be destabilized by temporary storms. This dance shows itself not only in obvious behavior, but also in subtle details. You might notice sudden mood swings. She is playful and affectionate in one moment, then strangely distant the next. She might pretend to be uninterested, but her body language betrays her. A stolen glance, a sudden spark of energy when you enter the room, or a small adjustment to her appearance when she thinks you are not watching. At times, she may even tell a small lie about being busy, only to later reveal that she was free all along. These contradictions are not evidence of deceit but of inner conflict. She is torn between desire and fear, attraction and self-preservation. The key is to understand that inconsistency is not the enemy. In fact, it is one of the strongest proofs of hidden desire. A woman who feels nothing remains consistent. She is polite, neutral, and steady because there is nothing to protect. A woman who feels strongly becomes inconsistent, precisely because she is struggling to manage emotions that run deeper than she expected. Her push-pull behavior is her subconscious way of negotiating the risks of vulnerability. When you learn to read this dance correctly, confusion disappears. Instead of questioning her motives, you see the pattern for what it is, proof that she cares. The man who reacts with calmness and confidence wins her trust, because he communicates that he is strong enough to handle her contradictions without being shaken. The man who reacts with desperation loses her, because he confirms her fear that investing in him would mean instability. Attraction, therefore, is not destroyed by mixed signals. It is revealed by them. The dance of push and pull is not a game to trap you, but a mirror of her inner struggle. She wants to step closer, yet fears the cost of being hurt. By holding steady, you give her the space to reconcile those emotions, and in that space, desire grows. After the confusion of push and pull, another layer of attraction reveals itself in a way that is harder to disguise: the instinct for closeness. Human beings are drawn toward what they secretly want, and women are no exception. Even when she tries to mask her interest, her subconscious will betray her through proximity and attention. The gravity of attraction pulls her closer, often without her realizing it, and this pull becomes one of the clearest proofs that her emotions are real. Consider how she positions herself. In a crowded room, with endless options for where to sit or stand, she somehow finds herself near you. She may take the seat beside you even when the space is large, or she might lean in during conversation, as though the distance between you and her is uncomfortable. Sometimes she brushes your arm accidentally, or asks to borrow your jacket when she clearly doesn't need it. To the man who pays attention, none of these gestures are coincidences. They are her subconscious reaching out, building bridges of contact. Every small excuse for touch, every step into your space is an unspoken admission of desire. Attention works in the same way. Women are masters of dividing their focus in public, yet when attraction is present, their energy betrays them. She laughs louder at your jokes than at anyone else's, even when your comment wasn't especially funny. She listens more closely to your stories, remembers details you hardly noticed yourself, and mirrors your emotional energy without effort. If you grow excited, she becomes animated. If you slow down, her tone softens to match. This synchronization is not rehearsed. It is a subconscious form of alignment, her brain's way of saying, "I want to connect with you." This mirroring is one of the strongest proofs of hidden attraction. A woman who is emotionally neutral will not adapt her energy to yours. She will stay in her own rhythm. But a woman who desires you will unconsciously fall into step, as though her emotions are tuned to your frequency. If you want to test it, change your posture slightly, shift your tone, or pause in silence. If she follows, you already know the truth. Her subconscious has aligned itself with you. Even silence itself reveals desire when understood correctly. Many men panic when a woman suddenly grows quiet in their presence. They assume she is bored, uninterested, or waiting for the moment to escape. In reality, silence often signals intensity. Words are easy shields, but silence exposes emotions that are too strong to disguise. She may stop speaking because her body is already betraying her interest, because her eyes reveal more than she dares to admit. The inexperienced man tries to fill the silence with nervous chatter, killing the tension that could have deepened attraction. The confident man remains patient, calm, and composed, letting silence work in his favor. Sometimes the loudest proof of desire is the moment when she cannot speak at all. The key to navigating proximity and attention is subtlety. If you call her out directly, "Why are you always near me?" or "You must like me if you laugh that hard," you shatter the delicate balance. Attraction thrives in nuance. The right move is to enjoy the attention without demanding confirmation. Treat every brush of her hand, every mirrored posture, and every prolonged laugh as small gifts of evidence. They are not declarations, but they are more powerful than words because they reveal what she cannot control. This is why the gravity of attraction is so reliable. She can disguise her words, she can fake indifference, she can even test you with jealousy or sarcasm, but she cannot fully suppress the pull that brings her closer. The need for proximity, the constant return of her attention, the way her energy bends toward yours again and again. These are undeniable. They prove that even when she retreats with coldness, her subconscious always finds a way back. Understanding this dynamic changes how you see interactions. You stop mistaking accidents for coincidence, you stop dismissing laughter as politeness, and you stop panicking when silence appears. Instead, you recognize that desire creates gravity, and gravity cannot be faked. Every time she moves closer, every time she invests her attention, every time her emotions echo yours, she is revealing that you already matter more to her than she wants to admit. If proximity and attention reveal the pull of attraction in the present moment, then memory and curiosity expose its reach into the past and the future. Desire does not only live in fleeting touches or mirrored emotions. It reshapes the way the mind records information and the way questions are asked. When a woman is invested, she unconsciously begins to store details about you and to explore the parts of your life that matter most. These actions are not trivial. They are signals of emotional investment, proof that you occupy space in her thoughts even when you are not around. Memory is the first and most overlooked sign. A woman who has little interest forgets almost everything you say. Your stories fade, your habits go unnoticed, and your preferences blur into the background noise of casual interaction. But when she desires you, her brain filters differently. She remembers details you may have forgotten yourself. The brand of your watch, the way you take your coffee, the city you once mentioned visiting as a child. These fragments become important to her because you are important. They surface later in conversation, catching you off guard, as if she has built a private archive of your life. Men often dismiss this as politeness or good memory, but it is much more than that. People do not invest memory in what they do not value. When she recalls the smallest parts of you, it is because those parts already matter to her. Curiosity is the second half of this investment. When a woman wants you, she does not stay on the surface of casual topics. Instead, she ventures into the territory of your relationships, your history, and your emotional world. She may ask whether you are dating, whether you have ever been betrayed, or what you think about love and commitment. On the surface, these questions might sound like idle chatter, but beneath them lies a deeper purpose. They are evaluations. She is mapping her own possibilities with you, testing whether you are available, whether you carry scars that might matter, and whether you approach relationships with seriousness or carelessness. The truth is simple. Women rarely ask such questions of men they do not want. Curiosity about your love life is one of the clearest markers of attraction. Every time she raises the subject, she is picturing herself in the story. Every question is a step into imagining a shared future, even if she hides it beneath casual words. This investment reveals itself not only in direct interactions, but also in how she speaks about you to others. Friends may mention that she repeated something you said, compared another man to you, or dropped your name into a story when you were not present. This is not accidental. Talking about you when you are absent is a powerful giveaway. It means you live in her mind long enough to cross into her conversations. A woman does not repeatedly reference a man who is irrelevant to her. She does not weave someone into her stories unless she is already emotionally attached. What makes memory and curiosity so powerful is that they cannot be faked easily. A woman can pretend to laugh at your joke or act distracted to disguise her nerves, but she cannot consistently remember details she does not value. Nor can she stop herself from asking the questions that matter to her heart. The act of remembering and the act of inquiring both require effort, and effort is always a sign of investment. For men, the challenge is to notice without overanalyzing. When she recalls something small you once mentioned, or when she probes gently into your views on love, you don't need to interrogate her motives. Simply recognize these actions for what they are, evidence of hidden desire. By acknowledging them silently, you avoid pressuring her while still understanding the truth of her investment. Attraction is rarely about grand declarations. It is about the small ways someone reshapes their attention, their memory, and their curiosity around you. When a woman keeps track of your details, when she asks about your relationships, when she talks about you even in your absence, she is revealing more than her words admit. These are not coincidences. They are signs that you already matter to her, that she is investing not just in the present moment, but in the possibility of a shared future. If memory and curiosity prove that she is already investing in you emotionally, then preparation and jealousy form the final layer, the ultimate signals that her desire has crossed from subtle hints into undeniable truth. At this stage, attraction is no longer just a matter of nervous glances, playful tests, or hidden laughter. It becomes visible in the way she reshapes her choices and energy around you, even while trying to deny it. One of the clearest proofs is the effort she invests in her appearance when she knows she will see you. Human beings don't change for those they do not care about, and women are no different. If she suddenly arrives with her hair styled differently, wearing a new perfume, or choosing clothes that highlight her best features, it is rarely a coincidence. She may claim it was random or that she simply threw something on, but the truth is simpler. Effort is evidence. The time and thought she invests in how she presents herself reveal that your presence matters. Men who fail to notice this often realize too late, when another man recognizes the signals and responds. The reality is that people only prepare for what they value. If she shows up ready, it is because she wants to be seen by you. Alongside this preparation comes another undeniable indicator: jealousy. Unlike the playful jealousy of earlier tests, this form carries more intensity. It surfaces when other women are near you. Perhaps she grows suddenly quiet. Perhaps she makes a sarcastic remark about the girl you just spoke with. Or perhaps she exaggerates her attention toward you in an attempt to reassert her position. These shifts are not signs of betrayal or manipulation. They are signs of investment. Psychology reveals jealousy as one of the purest markers of desire. If she did not care, she would not react. Indifference does not watch, does not compare, and does not compete. Her jealousy is proof that she already sees you as someone she does not want to lose, even if she refuses to admit it directly. The mistake many men make is either overreacting to this jealousy or ignoring it completely. Overreaction breeds conflict and insecurity, while dismissal creates distance. The wiser path is balance. Recognize the signal without letting it control you. When she reveals jealousy, she is showing that her emotions are engaged. Respond with steadiness, neither defensive nor cold, and her attraction deepens. Because she realizes you are not only aware of her feelings, but also strong enough to handle them. At this point, a deeper truth becomes clear. Women rarely speak attraction in words. They speak it in behaviors, contradictions, and the silent betrayals of self-control. From nervous fidgeting to emotional tests, from the dance of push and pull to the gravity of proximity, from memory and curiosity to preparation and jealousy, every layer of behavior points to the same conclusion. Desire cannot hide forever. It leaks out in details, in effort, in reactions, and in the ways she tries to disguise what is already undeniable. For you, the advantage is enormous. Most men remain blind, waiting for confessions that never come, chasing clarity in words while ignoring the evidence in actions. They misinterpret tests as rejection, silence as disinterest, or jealousy as manipulation. As a result, they waste time on women who never wanted them while overlooking the ones who did. But when you learn to read the silent language, the emotional tests, the push-pull dance, the gravity of attention, the investment of memory, and the final proofs of effort and jealousy, you hold the power. You no longer hope to be chosen, you choose. You decide where to invest your own energy, who to pursue, and when to step back. This is the ultimate secret. Attraction is not a mystery reserved for a lucky few. It is a system of signals, consistent and reliable, if you train yourself to see them. The final proof is not in what she says, but in what she does when she thinks no one notices. And your next step is not to chase, beg, or demand answers, but to stay calm, steady, and aware, turning her hidden desire into open connection. By now you have uncovered the full map, the 6 layers of attraction that women reveal without speaking them out loud. Each one is an invitation, subtle yet powerful, waiting for the man perceptive enough to see. If you recognize these signals, you stop living in confusion and start living with clarity. You stop doubting yourself and begin choosing from a position of strength. And that shift, from blindness to awareness, from chasing to leading, is what makes the difference between being another forgotten option and becoming the man she cannot ignore.